You don't need a time machine to speak to who you once were. Sometimes a small piece of paper, a few kind words, and the act of slowing down are enough. Today, I'm sending a postcard, not through the post, but through time. Hi, I'm Gajana, and welcome to day 16 of our July Junk Journal Challenge. Every day this month, I have been creating one small page in this accordion-style journal, each one inspired by a single word prompt. Today's prompt is postcard, and like always, I'll be crafting and reflecting through a psychotherapeutic lens. Nothing clinical, just gentle observation from the heart. This series is a part of a community challenge hosted by the lovely Lee from Lee Creates, and it's been such a beautiful journey so far. As I flip through the first half of the journey, you see how each page has carried a small story, a question, a quiet truth, and today's theme might be my favorite yet. But then they all are. And there's something powerful about postcards. They are small, but they carry intentions. We send them from a specific place to someone we care about. And this one feels extra personal. It's going to my past self. The materials today come from different chapters of my life. This printable postcard backed with coffee-dyed paper I made in New Zealand. 2 postcards with squares showing Hamburg scenes, bits of architecture and lots of harbor, which makes me feel oddly nostalgic. And this postage stamp, a real one saved by my mother here in Germany. Each piece holds a place, a memory, a layer. And the quote that brings it all together: send your past self a postcard. Let her know she's still on the way. In therapy, we often speak about the inner child, but today I'm thinking about the inner traveler, the version of you who took the long route, made detours, got a little lost, and still kept going. What would you write to her if you could? For me, it is not advice, not correction, just acknowledgement. I see you, you've come so far, and you are still on the way. So much of emotional healing is about being witnessed, not necessarily fixed or changed. The simple message of a postcard can hold exactly that. You are not forgotten. You are still becoming. And I start by folding the postcard in half and gently pressing the crease. There's something deeply satisfying about this movement and finding the right space where I want to place it. It's a kind of a quiet ritual. The outside of the postcard will become part of the page, while the inside offers space to hide something more personal for me. It reminds me of how we often protect what matters most, and that makes sense. Even if we want to share it, it's good to wrap it in a layer of care and, looking after ourselves. So, before I glue anything down, I like to decorate the base page first. I need to unfold my accordion journal. It gets a bit chunky and it's easier to work having a flat surface. So if I want the postcard to be able to fold out and then fold out again, I think I will attach it with the double-sided tape I used before and a little bit here of this washi tape. Some of you might remember this from earlier in this series. I find it adds a visual anchor. I love the repetition of using familiar elements. It helps to tie the journal together across time. And that's the thing about journaling. The themes don't stand alone. Every day builds on the last, even if we are not always aware of it. Send your past self a postcard. That phrase landed in me the moment I read it. It reminded me that even now, there are parts of myself I forgot to include. Not out of cruelty, just out of habit. But those younger versions of me, the scared one, the bold one, the hopeful one, they still deserve to be spoken to kindly. And so I decide here to add this red and blue airmail stripe to the base. I find it's bold and graphic and a nice contrast to the muted coffee tones. And next comes the postage stamp, like slightly tilted, slightly worn. It has already traveled far, like so many of my younger parts. There's no need to rush the rest of the layout. When we let ourselves work slowly, intuitively, we often stumble across what we didn't even know we needed. And that's how self-kindness begins. Not with big declarations, but with small choices. To listen more closely, to pause, to stay curious a little longer. One of the most healing exercises I offer in therapy is letter writing. Not to send, but to say what was never said. Sometimes to a parent, sometimes to a lost friend, and sometimes to ourselves. What would it be like to actually write a postcard to your past self? Just a sentence or two. Not to explain anything, but to offer a moment of warmth. Maybe you would write to the version of you who stayed too quiet, or the one who tried so hard to be perfect, or the one who just really needed a hug and didn't know how to ask. You could even make it part of your journal today, a real postcard or just a scrap of paper. What matters is the intention. That part of you might still be listening, and maybe, just maybe, she's still waiting for you to say, you didn't do anything wrong. You were doing your best, and you are still on the way. And I think now it's time, and I'm ready to attach the postcard to the page. I want it to be folded in half and then into the page. And for that, I'm using double-sided tape for the inside. I want it to have a strong hold, a really secure attachment to the base. And while I'm crafting, while I'm gluing down this postcard addressed to a younger Gajana, several different parts of myself sit with me. The part that remembers. The part that forgets just to get through. The one that laughs too loud at awkward moments, and the one that still waits quietly for someone to say, you have always been enough. My experience is we are not just one self moving through time. We are layered like paper, folded, sometimes a little worn at the edges, and I think many of us carry younger parts inside us that are still hoping for a reply, a response, a moment of being seen. And that's what this page has become for me today, a kind of gentle correspondence between parts of myself. The one who lived it, the one who now makes space for it, and the one who knows how to offer warmth. There's something incredibly powerful in being able to show up for ourselves in this way. Not with judgment, not even with big solutions, but with presence, with permission. And I'm pressing it down, folding it in, and I think I would like to add some washi tape on the inside, like for decoration. But also I think the washi tape adds structure, but also a little softness, like a visual rhythm. I've used the pattern of the washi tape before in this journal, and something about this repetition feels kind to me, almost like a visual reminder. It's okay to return. We don't have to start from scratch every time. So And here, as I glue it down and smooth the washi tape into place, I imagine it like a hand on a shoulder, like a quiet touch. The message is simple. It's, I've got you. We're in this together now. Sometimes in my work as a therapist, people ask, how do I comfort myself? What if I don't know how? And the truth is, we often do know. We just haven't always been taught to trust that knowing. It might look like journaling. It might sound like a sentence we whisper to ourselves before we sleep. It might feel like this, cutting and gluing and layering until something inside us softens just a little. I don't think healing always happens in these big dramatic moments. I think it often begins with something much smaller, like a soft voice within saying, I see you, you are allowed to feel that. Or a handmade page that says to a past self, you didn't have to hold this alone. I'm here now. That's the part of me I'm in touch with today. The part that can sit beside the ache without rushing it. The part that doesn't need everything to be fixed, just held. So I decide to cut out 3 small squares from the 2 postcards I found while strolling through the town I have been born in. Miniature slices of Hamburg life. This one shows a ship that is part of a wall of one of the harbor buildings. Another some ships, and the third a part of the quay wall framing the river Elbe. I feel nostalgic. I crumble the paper gently in my hand, just enough to give it texture. Then I distress the edges with my scissors and ink them with vintage photo oxide ink. There's something so satisfying about distressing. I think we aren't damaging the paper, we are allowing it to carry time, to show wear and tear. And I think a story doesn't have to be pristine to be worth telling. In fact, the most interesting ones rarely are. So, today's quote stays with me as I finish the page. Send your past self a postcard. Let her know she's still on the way. It's such a gentle thing to say. No rush, no demand to be anywhere else. Just a reminder. There's no arrival point, really. We don't become a final version of ourselves. We just keep unfolding. I have placed the 3 little Hamburg squares, one on the front of the postcard, one inside, and one on the base page. It's subtle, almost hidden, but that feels right. Some memories don't need a spotlight, just a place to land. And if this page touched something in you, I love to hear what message you would send to your younger self. Leave me a note in the comments or simply let today be the moment you reconnect with her in your heart. See you tomorrow for day 17.